For today's recipe, you're going to need 2/3 cup warm water. You want to make sure that it is under 110 degrees Fahrenheit. You need 2 2/3 cup of flour, 1½ teaspoon of salt, 1½ teaspoon of active dry yeast, and 1 cup of sourdough starter. Okay, so the recipe that I'm using today is super duper easy. First of all, you want to take just a little bit of cooking spray and spray the inside of the bread machine. You just don't want things to stick. Next, you need 2/3 of a cup of warm water. Now we're going to be using active yeast, so you want to make sure that it's not over 110 degrees. Between 105 and 110 is fine. And we're just going to pour that down in the bottom. Next, we're going to need 2 2/3 cup flour. This is just regular all-purpose flour, nothing fancy about it at all. Next, we have 1½ teaspoons of salt, just going to sprinkle it in. We have 1½ teaspoons of active dry yeast. And then we have the magic, because this is sourdough starter, and I have a wonderful friend at school that gave me some of her starter, so thank you very much, Rachel. But you want to use 1 cup of sourdough starter. And that is the hardest part of the recipe, because I'm going to close the lid. It's set on the basic setting, and I'm going to push the button and let it go. If you don't already have a sourdough starter, you can actually go to the Food Network website, and they have a wonderful article about how to start your own sourdough starter. One thing that you want to make sure that you do during the bread machine stirring and warming phase is make sure you open the lid and check to make sure that all of the flour that's in the corners of the pans are being mixed in as it goes. The cycle on the bread machine has finished, and when you open it up, there's this beautiful crusty bread. Now this one being made in the bread machine would be better for like slicing for sandwiches, because it's going to be more of the loaf form than if you baked it in the bread oven and made it round. So after you take the bread out of the bread machine, a really good thing to do is to take a stick of butter and just rub it over the top of the bread. It will give it a really beautiful gloss and also add flavor. And there you go, homemade sourdough. Homemade does not mean you have to go through a fuss. It just means you make it yourself at home. Lots of people have bread machines at home and they're just sitting in the cabinet, but go ahead and get them out, use them, because this took very little time to prepare, but you have something homemade and delicious in the end. Thanks for watching. If you really like these recipes and you'd like them to continue, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.